This is a dessert where the main ingredients are grown right here locally. It is a dish that is full with flavor but also full with heritage. Cassava pone, while it is a very popular dish in the Caribbean and here in Trinidad and Tobago, is also one of those very polarizing dishes. It's either people really love it or really hate it. And I want to go out on a limb and say that I feel like the people who don't really like cassava pone are people who never experienced a real good cassava pone. And I say that because I was one of those people. I didn't really care for it. I didn't have strong feelings towards it, but I didn't really care for it until that period in my life when I was working at Clico. And there was a lady, Miss Charmaine, she used to come in on an afternoon sometimes selling sweetbread and pone. Her cassava pone was real nice. It wasn't overly sweet. It was filled with those great spices like nutmeg and cinnamon and that kind of thing. And for me, like that's the hallmark of a real good cassava pone. Not too grainy or too gritty, more on the gooey side in terms of consistency. That for me does make a cassava pone real nice. So today, that is what we're doing. We're gonna make a real nice cassava pone. And I'm keeping it vegan, so I'm not using any milk or condensed milk. I'm using coconut milk. And I'm not using butter, I'll be using coconut oil. So, without further ado, let me get into this. The first thing I want to do is peel the cassava. I'm just gonna So for the next step, we want to grate our cassava. Now you could use a food processor to break this down, but I find like you just get better results from using a grater. You could use one of these modern box graters to grate it down on the fine side, but I find like I just get the best results when I use this long time grater. Using this box grater does give a better consistency. It's be almost kind of fluffy in texture, and that does give an overall more gooey, nice, soft consistency to the cassava pone. So my preference is using this long time grater, but if you don't have this, of course use a box grater, and if you don't have that, you could also use a food processor. Of course, this is a little more work than using a food processor, but it's a labor of love. So let me do this. This is the kind of consistency we're looking for. A very fine grain, nice and pappy, and I don't think you'll get this kind of consistency from a food processor, at least not my food processor. So we're good to go here. So I also like to add pumpkin to my pone. It gives it a nice golden color, adds great texture, but also the natural sugars in the pumpkin is a great natural sweetener, and it allows me to cut back on the amount of refined sugar that I use in this recipe. So going in, grating my pumpkin, to make it into a puree. And look how the grater just break down that pumpkin into a real nice fine puree, and you have all the water content from the pumpkin as well on the board. We're not going to throw any of that away. All that goes into our final mixture. Now to get our pone mixture going, I have 4.5 cups or 920 grams of grated cassava, 1 3/4 cups or 395 grams of pumpkin puree, 3 teaspoons of freshly grated ginger. For me, ginger is a must in there. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg powder, 1/4 teaspoon of clove powder, 1/2 teaspoon of bay leaf powder, 1 teaspoon of cardamom powder, and one very integral ingredient in this, 2 teaspoons of salt. The salt is going to allow you to taste all those spices when you bite into the pone. So the salt is very important in bringing out those flavors. You want to get those layers of flavors in there, the warm spices and everything. You want to taste the cassava, you want to taste the pumpkin, you want to taste the ginger, and the salt will allow you to do that. If you don't add salt and you just add sugar, it's just going to taste very kind of one-dimensional. The salt is what really brings out those layers of flavors in your pone. So don't forget the salt. Add in 1.5 cups of coconut milk, 3/4 cups of coconut oil, 1/3 cups of brown sugar. Now for me, this is sweet enough, right? I don't need mine to be sweeter than this. So If you want to try this recipe and make it a bit sweeter, that is all up to you, but for me, this is perfect in terms of the level of sweetness. Now, I have seen recipes out there that using 1 cup of sugar plus a whole tin of condensed milk, and to me, that is an insane amount of sugar to be consuming. I definitely could not do that to myself, and I don't want you to do that to yourself either. So, if you want to enjoy pone, but you don't want to, overdo it in terms of the amount of sugar that you're consuming, then this recipe, I think, has the right balance of sugar, but also all the other complex flavors, the pumpkin, the cassava, the ginger, the spices. This recipe delivers on flavor without you, overdoing it, as I say, on the sugar. So you're just gonna combine this well. And this recipe that I'm doing here, it fills a 9x12 pan, but today I'll be baking it in smaller pans because I want to get some more corner pieces. The corner pieces, are the most coveted pieces when you're having pone. So I'm baking it in some smaller trays today just to get some more corner pieces, but this recipe will fill a 9x12 inch pan, and the pone would be about 1.5 inches in thickness or in height. So we're good to go here. And as I mentioned before, this recipe is really for a 9x12 inch baking tray, but like I said, I'm baking it into a smaller pan because I want to get some more corner pieces, right? So I'm just gonna add it into there. Okay, so I have my oven preheated at 350 degrees. We're going to bake this on the middle rack for 1 hour. So you'll come back and check on it in an hour's time. So 1 hour later, and we're looking real good. We have some nice color going on here, nice crust on the top. Also some nice browning happening on the sides as well. As you can see, the crust has started to pull away from the sides of the baking dish. So we know that we're fully cooked. We have a nice pone happening here. The only thing left to do is to allow this to cool for a bit, and then we're going to dig in and have some real nice cassava pone. So I've allowed the pone to cool, and I was able to take it out of the baking tray, place it onto my cutting board, and now I'm just going to slice off a nice little piece here off the corner. The corner piece is the most coveted piece of the pone. Just going to cut off a little piece like that. It's still warm, so nice crust around the edges, beautiful crust on the bottom, but if you look on the inside, moist and gooey. That, as I said, for me is the hallmark of a real nice pone. So, not standing on ceremony, I'm gonna give it a little taste. Of course, I get that deep flavor from the caramelization of the sugar, as well as the natural sugars in the cassava and the pumpkin, which happens around the crust. And then, as I said, nice gooey interior. You get all the spices coming through. You get the warmth of the ginger, clove, cinnamon, nutmeg, all those spices in there. Real nice. We don't need to go and buy any expensive gluten-free flours or any kind of fancy ingredients to make gluten-free, and in this case vegan desserts. We have that right here in our repertoire of traditional Caribbean dishes. Cassava pone is that recipe. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and give it a share. If you do try the recipe, let me know down in the comments how it turned out. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.